During this unit, we will continue to cover the forever growing school. Therefore, during this video production, we will not be covering the background information about the school, the analysis of the school's history and growth, summary of the school's strengths and weaknesses, and the responses and results of the school's recent strategy. This is due to this information being covered in the previous video productions, and you should already understand that information. However, if there are any questions regarding those topics, they are available in Unit 2 of this series. This production will only cover the new information regarding the implementation and institutionalization of technology. Once a new technology has been diffused and adopted by an organization, care must be taken to ensure the technology is used and used appropriately by the members of that entity. Creating awareness, interest, trial, and adoption is not enough to ensure the innovation is used by the organizational members and becomes part of the organizational culture. A plan must be in place for facilitating the use of the new technology by individuals and for integrating the innovation into the organization's structure, behavior, and culture. The purpose of this study is to develop a strategy for the implementation and institutionalization of the new software and application resources into a preschool environment. At some point in their history, many organizations have adopted a new innovation to improve some process or to make someone more efficient, and the innovation ended up unused or misused for its intended purpose. This cycle wastes valuable resources and frustrates the very people the innovation was intended to help. The Association of Education and Communication Technology standards state implementation is using instructional materials and strategies in real settings in order to facilitate appropriate use of the innovations by the individuals in the organization. There are 8 conditions that contribute to implementation. They include dissatisfaction with the status quo. Dissatisfaction is based on an innate feeling or is induced by a marketing campaign. Knowledge and skills exist. Knowledge and skills are those required by the ultimate user of the innovation. Training is usually a vital part of most successful innovations. Availability of resources. Without them, implementation is reduced. Availability of time. Time is necessary to acquire and practice knowledge and skills. Rewards and/or incentives exist. An incentive is something that serves as an expectation of a reward, a stimulus to act. A reward is something given for meeting an acceptable standard of performance. Participation. This is shared decision-making, communication among all parties involved in the process or their representatives. Commitment. This condition demonstrates firm and visible evidence that there is an endorsement and continuing support for the innovation. And leadership. This factor includes leadership of the executive officer of the organization, and sometimes a board, and leadership within the institution or project related to the day-to-day activities of the innovation being implemented. Currently, schools are increasingly seeking to incorporate technology into their curricular programs to improve the quality of learning activities for the students in order to enhance the school readiness and expand the efficiency and effectiveness of the teachers in order to complete additional pertinent work. This technology integration movement is also prevalent in the pre-kindergartens and preschools and other early education institutions. This case study examines one such pre-kindergarten called Forever Growing and its devotion to providing high-quality academic and social learning experiences. The school administrator will attempt to collaborate with the Instructional Design Technology Department at the University of Houston Clear Lake to design and develop some DVD and internet-based learning modules for use by the school. Additionally, the school hopes to enlist the assistance of the university to set up a school webpage and establish a presence in several of the social media forums. This paper will review whether the conditions exist at the Forever Growing School and where they are lacking, and it will identify strategies for augmenting or establishing those conditions within the context of the school's learning environment. Forever Growing is a small privately owned preschool with a total teaching staff of 6. Its small size can be an advantage or a disadvantage when it comes to media utilization and the diffusion and implementation of technological innovations. Once a technology has been adopted, a plan must be in place to ensure the innovation is used appropriately by the staff and is integrated into the structure and culture of the organization. A number of variables impact the effectiveness of the implementation process, including organizational climate, political complexity, demographics, and attributes of the innovation itself. Because of its small size and close-knit community environment, political complexity is not a likely variable to impact the technology implementation at Forever Growing School. However, within the framework of the other variables, this study will address and design a strategy for successful implementation. In implementation, a task with the new technology is performed according to the point of view of the individual using the technology. They further note that for this process to be institutionalized, the task with the new technology must be performed according to an organizational standard. The ultimate criterion for successful innovation is that it is routinely used in settings for which it was designed. It has become integral to the organization or the social system and is no longer considered to be an innovation. At this point, the innovation is institutionalized, and there are 6 commonly accepted indicators of institutionalization. They include acceptance by relevant participants, the innovation is stable and routine, widespread use of the innovation throughout the institution or organization, firm expectation that use of the practice and/or product will continue within the institution or organization. Continuation does not depend upon the actions of specific individuals, but upon organizational culture, structure, or procedures, and routine allocations of time and money. Within the context of this study, we will also suggest strategies for assessing the degree of institutionalization of the new software and applications at the Forever Growing School once they have been implemented. The teachers at Forever Growing School are acutely aware of the school's resource shortages and have performed a remarkable job of maintaining the quality of the academic program in spite of these limitations. However, technology and media utilization are below average when compared to the school's competitors. The decision by the school administrator to bridge this technology gap through a collaborative development project with the University of Houston Clear Lake creates a need for a strategy to ensure implementation and institutionalization of the resulting resources occur once they are adopted. This case study will review the conditions which are most likely to create an environment favorable to successful implementation and institutionalization. Where circumstances are lacking within the school, for any of these conditions, strategies will be planned to augment or establish favorable conditions for these processes. The following action-based alternatives are more suggestions for an iterative process than mutually exclusive alternatives. These alternatives would comprise of a plan to carry the school through implementation and institutionalization processes, addressing each stage of that process. The small, close-knit nature of the environment at the Forever Growing School make political complexity an unlikely issue regarding the implementation and institutionalization of the proposed innovations. The organizational climate at the school comprises a strong and cohesive group with a common set of values and mutually agreed upon goals for the success of the school and the students. The staff is trained and professional with a variety of backgrounds. Likewise, among the staff, there is a variety of familiarity with the use of technology. The technology proposed for adoption by the school is neither exceedingly complex, nor will it require extensive technical support to operate. The current conditions at the school supporting successful implementation of the proposed technology are as follows. Dissatisfaction with the status quo. The school administration recognizes the school lags in its competition and needs to bridge this gap in order to remain competitive. The teaching staff recognizes the value of technology-based learning to increase the quality of instruction provided to the students. In general, there is dissatisfaction at the school with the status quo, so this condition is fully met. Knowledge of skills exist. It is likely the personal knowledge base of the staff is uneven, with some being more comfortable with the use and implementation of technology than others. This condition is uncertain and may possibly not be fully met. A plan should be identified to address this area. Availability of resources. If the collaborative effort with the University of Houston-Clear Lake for the design and development of the technology comes to fruition, this media utilization initiative will be cost neutral to the school, and this condition will be fully met. It is the assumption of this study that this will be the case. Availability of time. Depending on the outcome of the condition or of condition number 2, this condition may or may not be fully met. A plan should be developed to address any training or knowledge shortfalls that currently exist among the staff to make them comfortable with the proposed technology. Rewards or incentives. Given the circumstances noted in number 1 and the limited resources of the school, it is unlikely either rewards or incentives will be necessary during the implementation process. No plan is necessary for addressing this condition. Participation. The school plans to involve the teachers during the analysis and design phase of the collaboration project with the University of Houston-Clear Lake. This provides an atmosphere of joint decision-making and should fully meet the requirements of this condition. No plan is necessary. Commitment. The mutual recognition by the administrator and the teaching staff that technology resources are needed and necessary create a strong commitment on the part of all employees to embrace the proposed technology. This condition should be present within the school, and no plan is necessary. The recognition and attitudes within the school, noted in number 7, also make it unlikely that this condition will present an issue during implementation. No plan is necessary. Teachers work with the University of Houston-Clear Lake instructional designers in the analysis and design phase of the collaborative project. This action will reinforce both Condition 2 and Condition 4. By participating in the design and development of the objective learning modules, the teaching staff can become comfortable with the procedures and the products as they are constructed. Their questions can be addressed, and coaching can occur to overcome any technology gaps. This alternative will also help to shorten the time required for the teachers to feel comfortable with the final product and get them implemented into the instructional programs. Identify an innovator or early adopter among the teachers to start peer-to-peer conversations, plus act as mentors and tutors. This action aligns effectively with the first action suggested. Through peer conversations, the less technically advanced teachers will have an informal, less threatening support structure to answer questions, demonstrate concepts, and facilitate more reassurance regarding the proposed changes. This alternative also supports a reduction in the time required to establish a level of comfort regarding the use and implementation of the learning programs into the daily learning activities. The school director should initiate the alternatives recommended. Even if for some reason the initiative to acquire the proposed technological learning resources failed to materialize, training the teaching staff on technology will undoubtedly pay dividends in the future. Additionally, the alternative suggested providing a way to create a professional learning community among the educators and provide a means for them to have increased decision-making input into the direction and future of the school. Implementation and institutionalization of the objective technology in this case study does not pose an extensive or complex problem. The Forever Growing School is a small, cohesive educational organization whose existing structure and culture already have many of the conditions which support successful implementation and institutionalization of new technology. By following the few alternatives and recommendations noted, their technology initiative should be a successful undertaking.
You may find yourself living in a shotgun shack, and you may find yourself in another part of the world, and you may find yourself behind the wheel of a large automobile, and you may find yourself in a beautiful house with a beautiful wife, and you may ask yourself,